Welcome to the Wear It Well podcast, powered by Wear It AI. I'm your host, Dr. Katie Yeung. In a world transformed by AI, one thing has never changed. Style is human. Here, we spotlight the stylists and creators bringing artistry, culture, and identity to fashion in the age of digital AI. Join us as we talk creativity, technology, and what it means to empower an entire generation of stylists and trendsetters. Welcome, Janis.
Thank you.
So, Janis, would you like to introduce yourself briefly for the audience?
Sure. My name is Janis Lozano, and I am an art director, makeup artist, hairstylist, and wardrobe stylist. I've been in this industry for about 28 years, and my main focus is commercial, editorial, fashion, and campaign work. So I work a lot with brands who are launching, their apparel brands or their lifestyle brand. I do a lot of e-commerce as well as editorial campaigns, and yeah, I just love it. I love being creative and being in this environment.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been so much fun working with you on Wear It. You have your portfolio there, and we love seeing your styles. And it's an honor to have you on the show as well.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
So let's start with your origin story. Take a look at your experience, your past. You have 20-something years of being a stylist. That's impressive. So what first sparked your interest in styling?
So I actually started in front of the camera as an actor and model, and always just really loved being on set and being creative. Eventually, I got into hair and makeup, and the transition into wardrobe was very easily and very flawless because I always had an eye for fashion, and I was always around the sets and the environment of it. Just coming up in New York City with my career, always being around, some of the best stylists in the world. And so I very quickly sort of gravitated to them and started assisting and really like learning the ropes and learning how to have set etiquette, and then learning how to develop my own personal style as well as my own aesthetic that would be translated into my work.
Yeah. And last time, I think when we chatted briefly, you mentioned you were on set. What
Yes.
type of, would you mind describing to us a little bit how it is like to work as a stylist?
Sure. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of hard work. You are, depending on the project, if you're doing e-commerce, it's a little bit, more in studio, and you're working with different sets of models. So it's a little bit of a faster paced day. You really have to sort of be organized and very detail oriented and make sure you're getting the correct shots. Most clients, when it's an e-commerce day, they want front, back, side, and details. So you just want to be really diligent that you're moving quickly through the garments and making sure that you're, styling it the way the client wants it, and that the model is working the garment the way it's supposed to. And then with being on location or more of an editorial campaign or lifestyle campaign, it's a little more freedom. You have less items to shoot, and you have a little more leeway with movement. And not everything is so static and pinned. So you're not shooting front, back, and side. You're just kind of letting the model free form. And so you just want to make sure that the garment looks good, that it fits. If you do need to pin it, obviously, if the sample is too big or too small, you have to make adjustments and make sure that you're hiding the pins depending on how the model is moving around. But it is truly a collaborative effort. You're working with, many other crew members who work really hard to put everything together. So just knowing your place, knowing your set etiquette, knowing when to go in, how to communicate to the photographer, videographer that you're going in to fix something, understanding how to direct the model to move in the garment as well as fix little things that they can do so you're not like stepping into the camera all the time, and just really having fun with it and just putting your own spin on it. Of course, we get paid to style for clients, and so it's their creative vision. At the end of the day, it's their garment that they're showcasing, so you always want to make sure that you're very mindful of that, and that you're making sure the client gets what they need. But then most clients hire you for your aesthetic, so they'll let you can put your own spin on it, or they want you to sort of have a little more freedom with it, and so it can really be a lot of fun and very rewarding.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of hard work and also big projects that you're involved in. Um,
Yes.
how many people do you work with? And it sounds like there's like designer, there are makeup artists. So can you describe the people that you work with on your day?
Sure. So I'm a freelancer. So I'm represented by different agencies nationally, and they book the work for me. So my week to week is very different. For example, last week or this week actually is Friday, so it's still the same week. I got back from Bermuda yesterday. I was on a project with an
Um,
apparel client, and we had about a crew of 13 people. So it just depends on the project. Sometimes it's a crew of 50 to 100 people. Sometimes it's 150 people. Sometimes it's 4 people. So it just really depends on the client's budget, the reach, what we're doing, the if it's a small business or a larger client, if it's commercial or editorial. It just really depends. My job can vary, from day to day, week to week, month to month. So that's one of the kind of challenging and rewarding parts of it as well, is you just have to be prepared to, show up, and you may be the one doing everything, and you may have, all hands on deck. So it really
mhm.
depends.
Yeah, definitely helps when you have an agency to help you.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
are actually on the roster for several of them.
Yes, yeah, I have 3 main agencies that represent me, and, depending on the market, I work in New York, LA, Chicago, Miami with one, then another one represents me in the Carolinas, and then I have another one that represents me in the Southeast because I live in Atlanta. So, that agency represents me in Atlanta, Miami, Tennessee, those, markets that are within my hometown, and then, the other agencies represent me in the markets that I have the most clients in.
How did they find you, or how did you find them?
So I've been with one of them for about 15 years. So how did they find me?
Mhm.
I was in New York at the time still, and I was with another agency who was shutting their doors down. They were actually dissolving their artist division. And that's what we call the representation for, like, makeup artists, hairstylists, art directors, wardrobe stylists, designers, that sort of environment. And I was looking for another agency, and I knew I was going to be relocating to the Southeast eventually. So I found this agency, and they have been around for 40 plus years. They're a very reputable agency. They're amazing. And I signed with them. I think I might have found them through a colleague referral, but if it's someone who wants to find an agency, I would recommend that they go online and research and make sure that the agency doesn't have a huge roster, that the work that they're representing, represents the work that you're doing, so that you have a better chance of getting represented, and then making sure that you have a really good book, a really solid book that showcases your skill set, working with different types of, projects, different types of models. And then you're able to, contact the agency, usually through their website, and fill out a form to sort of, seek representation. And if they're interested, they'll reach out to you.
Is it very competitive?
It can be, for sure. I think a lot of people don't understand how to get represented, so it can seem like it's very competitive. But I think as long as you understand that the agencies you're reaching out to, you want to make sure that they're in your caliber of work, that they're in your market. You don't want to reach out to an agency in LA if you live in New York and you have no plans to go to LA. So you really have to be very mindful of where you're reaching out and how you're reaching out, and then making sure that you're ready for it, making sure that your book speaks for itself, that you have a good, solid assortment of projects that you've done yourself, that you've been the lead on, because that's really important. You don't want to submit work where you assisted, because that's not really your work, that's someone else's work. And just being, really honest about your resume and what your capabilities are. And, I mean, there's some really amazing agencies out there. There's a lot of them every year. There's a new one that pops up, and even in smaller markets, I think a lot of people are very fortunate that they can find an agency in their market, so they don't have to, go to New York or LA or Miami. Now with COVID especially, clients have moved around, and studios are in, some of the rural places in, the nation. So I think finding work is a lot easier. But if you feel like you have a lot of clients, and you're already like working a ton, maybe you don't need an agency, because
Mm.
you're, an agency is really an extension of you. And it's more of, if you feel like you need someone out there advocating for you, because then you're giving them the commission to do so, then it's worth it.
Mm. It's interesting that you mentioned remote work and COVID. And have you seen a shift of using digital tools for styling? And um, do you use any of those? Obviously, you are
Yes.
aware of it. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, actually, I have seen clients switch, especially some of their e-commerce work or some of the high rapid work that you do that's more in demand, switching over to digital tools, sort of like using mannequins, pinups, or AI. I myself am very versed in AI. I actually wrote a book about how to make passive income using AI. I think
Wow.
it's yeah, I think it's really I think it's super important in our industry that we embrace artificial intelligence. I talk to a lot of my colleagues, models, photographers, makeup artists, stylists, art directors, and they all feel like, our jobs are going to be obsolete and that they're going to be taken over by AI. And so everyone's kind of intimidated and really scared of it. And so I kind of switched my mindset and I started doing a lot more research on it and realized that, those who actually understand it are going to be ahead of everyone else by 2 to 3 years because AI is moving very quickly and developing very fast. And, large corporations like Meta and Google and Microsoft, they're, investing money into their AI automation services and AI data banks. And so it's really the wave of the future, but the future is here. So I think it's really important that we start embracing it and we start using tools that are available. And it's so fun. I mean, the things that you can do with it are just so exciting and the possibilities are endless. And as a creative, I just embrace it and just run with it.
Yeah. So on Wear It, you can style your clients. You can put different pieces on their body, their photos. Has that changed the way you work or create? And how does it feel when you have people wearing your styles through that?
Absolutely. I think, having been in this industry for so long, I've seen so many stages of it. One of the things that we always thought was never possible is working remotely within our industry because you have to be in front of someone to style them, you have to be in front of someone to do their hair and makeup. And now with a tool such as Wear It, I love it because I can style a client who is on the West Coast or in the UK or in Asia, and it's like real time and they're able to see themselves wearing it. I'm able to send images or just even a link of the product, and immediately the software puts it on them or the model that they're using. And I just think that's the coolest. I mean, it's like, who wouldn't want to be able to shop that way or to be able to see themselves in a style that maybe they've never been able to wear, or just to kind of define their own personal style that way. I think it's really cool that we're able to do that.
Yeah. If there were like a magic wand that you wish that Wear It had, like what would that be? How can we help you?
Mm. It's funny because the software itself has been developing so much within the past few months, even just since I started using it. I really like how now, you can sort of use different other designers that are featured and create a trend, and then you're creating commission as well through that, and just finding different ways to earn income as like passive income, I think is really important, especially because this is kind of like where the future is going. So I have to see, well, how can I make money doing this? How can I turn this into my full-time job? And so just finding different ways to earn income, I think would be the one thing that I would add to it. But I think you guys are doing such a good job at developing it and constantly changing it and adding new features that it's definitely, up to speed.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm curious about the book you wrote. Like, what kind of passive income were you advocating for? Were you like guiding other stylists to explore?
Sure. So the name of the book is called 10 Side Hustles Using Artificial Intelligence. You can start today. So I focus on 10 specific, what I call side hustles that you can basically create passive income. Some of them can be, a faceless YouTube channel. So you can, sort of do it for any niche. And the real thing is, using tools like Claude or ChatGPT to sort of figure out what that niche is. So you can ask Chat to pull up algorithms of some of the best, faceless YouTube channels on the market, and it'll pull up, motivation videos, beauty tips, fashion trends, you name it. Some of it is, kids cartoons, and you kind of just figure out where you want to, build the channel, and using, tools like Canva, HeyGen, you have all these different tools out there to sort of facilitate the videos, and you don't even have to ever show your face. It works great for people who are camera shy or don't like to be in front of a camera or don't have time to make content. And it's once you put it up, it's really just there, and it starts making income by getting monetization through YouTube. Some of the other ways is we have a tool with Amazon called KDP, which is their publishing tool, and a lot of people don't know that
on there too.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't even know that they can self-publish.
Yeah.
And so whatever your niche is, if you're a writer, if you're write fiction, nonfiction, you can create a coloring book or a children's story, or like the book that I created, I published through KDP. And the beauty about it is, you don't have to go to a major publishing house. You can, create the work yourself, create your cover. If you don't, if you're not artistic and you don't want to create a cover, they'll create one for you. And then, once you upload your manuscript and you approve it, they print it, they ship it, and they deal with the customer for you. And that's such a huge advantage, because you're not having to, go and print everything yourself and then sell it and then ship it and worry about marketing it, so it's just like really accessible and really easy to sort of create anything on there. And again, it's passive income. Once you put it out there, it's just out in the world and people can buy it.
Yeah, definitely. So it's so interesting that you mentioned these platforms. I was expecting you to talk about like passive income as a stylist, but it actually expands way beyond that. And hopefully where it can be another platform for you to also earn the income passively. Yes. So what surprised you the most about turning styling into a business?
I think because I have such a passion for it, and I believe that like style is such a self-expression. It's an art form, right? The way you dress and what you choose to wear is a self-expression of who you are and what you're into. And it's such a, creative, like I don't think a lot of people even realize it, that like they're creating every day when they step into their closet and choose something, and even if you just pull something off the floor or out of the dryer, it's something that you chose to purchase at some point you made a decision that this was your style and this was something that you liked. And so I think being able to help people self-express and be passionate about what they wear is not only a hobby or a passion of mine, but to be able to make it a career is just a dream.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, when did you realize styling could be a career?
Ooh, probably about maybe 17 years ago, when I really just started putting a lot more into it and creating more and more with, collaborating with people and getting my book up to date so that I could go out and get myself work with this. And I also have a lot of personal clients, celebrities and musicians, and people who trust me to create their, their looks for tour or, a personal appearance or something like that. And I think, just being passionate about it is the first step, right? Having some sort of love or understanding of it. And then being able to, make that your job. It's like you're not even working because this is what you love. You're creating art, right?
Yeah.
So just having that ability to understand that, like, hey, I can actually like make this into a career and, get paid for it.
Yeah. How do you approach pricing? So I would assume nowadays your agencies will set the prices for you, right? So how do they come up with that?
So there's definitely a market standard, and it's based on where you are and what the project is. So, some of the rates could be a little cheaper in some of the Southeast market as opposed to the bigger markets like New York or LA. And then obviously depending on the project, if you're styling for a commercial or editorial shoot, it's a set rate. So you're either charging a day rate, which is usually 8 to 10 hours, or a half day rate, which is usually 4 hours. So depending on the length of the project and what the clients need, there's a set rate. And depending on the market that you're in, it can range, between $1,000 to, 1,500, 2,000, depending on the market you're in for a day rate. And then with personal clients, with some of like my influencer or celebrity or musician clients, it's based, per look, because a lot of them will reach out to me and say, hey, I have an award show. I need, 1, 2, 3 looks for, the after party or the award show. And then I'm doing a wardrobe change, or, hey, I'm going on tour and, I have, 12 dates and I need 12 outfits and I want to change, twice a night, whatever the case may be. Or if it's a personal appearance and they just need one outfit, it's based per look. And then most stylists, including myself, will charge a shopping time and a return time. So if the client doesn't want to keep any of the wardrobe, then we have to return it. And we usually charge for that. And the industry standard is like $125 an hour for shopping and returning.
That's a lot of shipping.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of shopping.
Yeah, and also shipping and returning.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that we wanted to explore is helping reduce that if we can.
Yes.
If it's something that we can generate with AI, it's still the real person in the real outfits, but then we don't have to do the purchasing and shipping.
Yes, which I think saves a lot of time and money. And it's, something like Wear It is really good for an influencer or a musician who needs content. They may not be going somewhere in real life, like an event or an award show, but they need pictures for their Instagram or their YouTube or their social channels. And I think, having a tool like Wear It is so valuable because you're saving the client a lot of money. You're saving them a lot of time as well. And so for me, it's just like a no-brainer. If you need content, and it's not like you're creating an avatar or using, a software that's, taking another person's face and putting it on the outfit. It's actually you, and it's real, So that's what I love about it.
Thank you. Yeah, you touching on a very interesting point that outfits are now used for creating content. So it actually is a very different relationship from way back when clothing is strictly for going out or wearing at home, like functional. But this functionality is like actually a new channel that people are using the outfits for. And they need content, and at the end of the day, it's just a picture.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
still, put a lot of thoughts in it, and you still need to do all the I would say maybe the philosophy of styling, even if it's just digital. Yeah. How do you build a look from scratch?
It depends on what I'm looking for, the client's personality or my personality, if it's something for myself, where the setting is going to be, if it's going to be for social, if it's going to be, do we want to be casual? Do we want to go out? Is it like a look where you're going to be a little more glam? And then once I have sort of that floor map, or strategy, then I start to look. I always usually go to my favorite brands, the brands that I know that are tried and true, that I know that like this particular client likes, or that I personally like, that I like working with. And then I start to look through their websites, their socials, and kind of see what people are doing. I use a lot of Pinterest as well. I think, just searching for trends on Pinterest, seeing what other people are wearing to a similar event or similar content creation. I think it's really important. And then, using some of the partners that Wear It has. I think that has been a really awesome feature. It's going through some of the designers or retailers that are already partnered with Wear It, that I can go to and pull up looks and then see what other stylists on Wear It or other clients of theirs are using, and kind of getting inspiration from that as well. I think it's just one big universe of, inspiration.
Wow, that's super great to hear that you're actually using all of these different features on our site. What is the most non-obvious detail you consider when styling?
The most non-obvious detail.
I'm gonna move on to some like small fun questions.
Okay, let's see. So I'm not a big jewelry person, so I would probably say jewelry. It's kind of my afterthought, just because I feel like jewelry should be like the cherry on top. It shouldn't make the outfit. You shouldn't go to somebody and go, oh my gosh, that necklace is all I see. And like you forget about the dress or the top or the skirt or whatever. Like to me, I feel like the outfit should speak for itself and the accessory should just kind of, like enhance it, but not take away from it. So I would probably say that's the most like not obvious detail because I don't think about it a lot.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, I think, I do like all these collages that
Mhm.
include jewelry.
Yeah,
The outfits are definitely the most important parts, but then
yeah,
those are quite good to include.
yes, yeah. Now, a pair of shoes and a handbag will make the outfit, in
Yeah,
my
will
opinion.
complete the look. Yeah. So we are adding a feature where you will be. So maybe I can show you after this interview.
Okay, yes.
We will let you actually do the collage. You can pick all these different items.
Oh, that's wonderful because I've been using another software to create the collage and then
Mhm.
bringing it into Wear It.
Yes.
So that's great. That's a great feature.
Good. And what's one fashion rule you feel is outdated?
Following trends.
Mhm. Yes.
I think I think, you know, trends are there to guide,
Yeah.
but they are not the standard.
Mhm.
And I'm a believer that timeless fashion works for all. So, whatever your comfort style is, whether you're a casual girly or you're a glam girly, um, not following the trend, but going with what makes you you and what makes you comfortable. I think there's a lot of reward in being comfortable in the outfit that you're in. And some of the trends, I feel like, if you don't wear heels, why are you going to run out and get a pair of stiletto knee high boots? Like you're not going to wear them. You're going to wear them for 2 hours. Your feet are going to hurt, and you're just going to be miserable. If you're a sneaker girl, go get the sneaker that makes you happy. So I don't. I feel like following trends is outdated. Trends are just they're there to guide, but they're not there to sort of set the standard.
But do you think vintage and past trends are now itself a trend too?
Yes, yes, and I love that. I love the idea of like recycling trends,
Yeah.
because it's very sustainable. If you have this, most people, if you spend a lot of money on a piece, that's really valuable, and you probably have it in your closet for years, and
Mhm.
the thought of donating it or getting rid of it might hurt your feelings. And so you're like,
Yeah.
it's going to come back, right? Like those bell bottoms from the 70s are going to come back, but they fit so well. And they do come back. And I'm a big believer in like mixing and matching. So, like mixing like a vintage piece with a high end piece or a streetwear piece or a sport piece with like, a designer piece. Like, I don't feel like you have to have a lot of money to dress well. I think that it's all about, again, self-expression. And I love looking at how some people put themselves together and how they mix and match, a vintage top with like a really cool piece of denim that they just bought, or something they borrowed from their mom's closet, and it just looks great on them. And I think that's the reward of like having those trends come back, is that like it's always going to be in style.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot from stylists like you. Just by looking at your collages and posts on Wearers, I got a better idea of how to mix and match existing wardrobe items.
Oh, nice, good.
Yeah, quickly, three words that define your aesthetic.
Three words to define my aesthetic. Oh, okay. I would say comfort, because I've mentioned that I think you should be comfortable in whatever you're wearing. Um, I would say modern,
Mhm.
because I do like to have a modern take on this, what we're styling. Um, and sustainable,
Ah,
because we are in an environment where we have to be really mindful of fast fashion and
yeah.
the pollution that the fashion industry creates. And so, vintage shopping is a really big part of my aesthetic as well, is finding pieces that I can recycle and that, are more sustainable in
Mhm.
enhancing the style.
Yeah. And which of your curations has gotten the most love and why?
Ooh, I think there's a really cool like bomber jacket, like kind of street style look that I put on Wear It that has gotten a lot of like rewears or whatever. Like people are styling it
Remixing?
and remixing it. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And it's just fun. It's kind of like when I created this, I was thinking about Hailey Bieber's style, how she's always on like these oversized coats and these oversized kind of boyish tops with like a really cool fitting piece of denim, and it's just kind of a cool girl slouchy vibe. Like she didn't try too hard, but she still looks so chic. And I
Mm,
love that. I love that because again, she's comfortable. She can wear that anywhere and she looks great in it.
I love that one. We should feature it on the cover of this podcast.
I'll send you. It's the one with the red bomber jacket. That's kind of
You
cool with the
can.
letterhead. Yeah.
So for the listeners, you should all go try it. It's in Janis's Wear It portfolio.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're about time to finish the podcast. Is there anything else that you wish that I asked you?
No, I think you've done a great job with all the questions. Yeah.
So usually people are not good at promoting themselves, but I would say that definitely go check out Janis's portfolio, and also what's the name of your book again?
Oh, thank you. So the book is on Amazon and it's called 10 Side Hustles Using Artificial Intelligence You Can Start Today.
So Janis has mentioned 2. So there are 8 that we still need to find out.
Yes. And what I definitely recommend if you decide to check out the book is to, really like pick one hustle and like start with it and scale it. And then you'll really see a benefit, because if you like start a lot of different ones at once, you're not going to put as much time into it. So you definitely want to like dedicate, time to each one. And then once you get one master, then you can move on to the next. But that's why I only did 10.
Oh, wow, you did a great job. So they all worked for you.
Yes. And then they're very easy to do. It doesn't require paid software. It doesn't require people to, have coding skills or understand AI. It's really just, about teaching people that AI is not intimidating and that they can, embrace it and use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looking forward to learning more from you.
Thank you.
Where can we find you online?
So you can find me at my website at janislozano.com. That's JANISLOZANO.com. Or you can find me on Instagram at the Janis Mara, JANISMARA.
Great. And of course, you can find the information on Wear It's website too.
Absolutely.
So, look for Janis's page. Thank you so much for being our guest. And thank you for listening to Wear It Well podcast. If you love this conversation, explore more by trying on our stylist looks at wearit.ai and see yourself in a whole new way. You can book them also for your next styling events through our website. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and join the Wear It community. Until next time, keep creating, keep expressing, and keep wearing it.